This is Fox 43 News at 10.
Down to the wire, parties to the state's gerrymandering lawsuit have until midnight to submit revised congressional district maps to the state Supreme Court.
And roadblock reached. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill forced to head back to the drawing board on immigration reform.
And remembering the lives lost, hundreds of people gathering tonight in sadness and solidarity to honor the victims of a deadly school shooting in Florida. Those victims, 14 high school students, a football coach, and athletic director and teacher, all shot and killed yesterday at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Evan Forrester.
And I'm Allie Bradley. Investigators today also gave a closer look at the timeline of exactly what happened, saying the 19-year-old suspected shooter arrived at the school in an Uber and was firing into classrooms just over 2 minutes later.
And he's now confessed to the crime. Fox 43's Lauren Blanchard has the very latest on that investigation.
He's sad, he's mournful, he's remorseful. He is fully aware of what is going on.
Additional information was found to positively identify the person who posted this comment.
And according to the suspect's lawyers, Cruz has been placed on suicide watch and has suffered from mental illness his entire life.
Two of the victims in yesterday's deadly shooting have connections to the Poconos region in Pennsylvania. 49-year-old Chris Hickson, the athletic director at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School, grew up in Monroe County. He graduated from Pleasant Valley High School near Stroudsburg in 1986 and went on to be a U.S. Naval reservist before being hired at the school in Florida. He also worked with campus security. And one of the teachers who was killed also worked as a camp counselor at a summer camp in Wayne County. Scott Beagle was a geography teacher at the high school, originally from Long Island, New York. Students say he was shot and killed while trying to lock the door to his classroom, saving many lives.
Mr. Beagle was my hero, and he still will forever be my hero. I will never forget the actions that he took for me and for fellow students in the classroom. And if his family is watching this, please know that your son or your brother was an amazing person, and I am alive today because of him.
The camp where Beagle worked in Wayne County says he was a beloved friend, role model, and hero.
And people gathered in Lancaster County tonight to pay their respects to those who lost their lives in the deadly Florida shooting. More than 24 people came together to pray for those 17 victims during a vigil at St. Thomas Episcopal Church in Manheim Township. Students in the area were also invited to discuss their concerns about violent school incidents. Church leaders say they hope to empower children and teenagers by reaching out.
I think it's really important to tell children that this is not the final answer, that we are still working on this, that it's okay to feel afraid, it's okay to feel sad, but don't feel hopeless.
Organizers say during this difficult time, it is important for people to come together to grieve.
We received no warning, no hints, no tips. Whenever you see something, say something.
The superintendent of Broward County Public Schools in Florida echoing a familiar phrase from officials. The idea of if you see something, say something is part of the difficult conversations being had with students today all across the country. And as Fox 43's Mark Roper explains, that includes right here in central Pennsylvania.
The day after a deadly school shooting in Florida, there is a message making its way through many school hallways to students here in central Pennsylvania.
We were able to do what we needed to do.
Mark Roper, Fox 43 News.
And if you want to continue following updates on yesterday's deadly school shooting in Florida, you can get the latest information on our website, fox43.com.
Two students in Franklin County taken into custody after bringing BB guns to school. That happened this afternoon at Chambersburg Area Senior High School. One student was found with 2 BB guns, another with a single gun. No one was injured. A high school in Maryland on lockdown today after police say a pellet gun was discovered in a student's backpack at Lock Raven High School near Towson. The 14-year-old student was taken into custody after officials say that student was showing the weapon to another student. The school was put on lockdown as a precaution. No one was hurt. Charges are pending against the suspect. Another student arrested today in Clarksburg, Maryland for also bringing a gun to school. According to the Fox affiliate in Washington, D.C., a school resource officer at Clarksburg High School discovered a handgun on that student. No word at this hour on what, if any, charges that teenager will face.
Bands of heavy rain moving through the area, prompting a flood advisory for a good portion of the area. Plus, I'm tracking snow for the weekend. We'll have the details coming up.
Pennsylvania's dispute over gerrymandering is heading back to the hands of the state Supreme Court.
Yeah, the court placed a midnight deadline tonight to submit proposed congressional district maps that it will consider in its creation of a map for this year's elections. Fox 43's Felix Rodriguez Lima, live in Harrisburg with the very latest.
Yeah, Evan, we have not. The big development is that we have still not seen a map from Governor Tom Wolf, but his press secretary, J.J. Abbott, telling me earlier tonight that the governor does plan to submit one before the midnight deadline. And we are still awaiting a map from the League of Women Voters who are affiliated with that group before the midnight deadline. In the meantime, though, other parties and other groups have submitted their maps to the state Supreme Court over the objections of Republicans who appear set to send this to federal court. The dispute over Pennsylvania's congressional districts heads toward another deadline. The state Supreme Court accepting proposed district maps until midnight. If a map is created, they say they more than likely will file a lawsuit in federal court. We're live in Harrisburg tonight. Felix Rodriguez Lima, Fox 43 News.
The idea of legalizing recreational marijuana in Pennsylvania is serving as a topic of debate today in Dauphin County. State Auditor General Eugene DePasquale debated the idea with congressional candidate Joe Peters at Widener University Law School in Susquehanna Township. The men have opposing opinions on how the legalization of marijuana would possibly impact crime in the Commonwealth.
And why take a step and overlay another drug to the problems we have when we haven't seen what medical marijuana is going to do, and on top of the fact that we have this horrific heroin opioid crisis we're dealing with every day.
There is a better path that I believe a growing number of Americans see, and that is if we regulate and tax it, we can actually get some of the bad actors out of it. We can get some of the dangerous substances that Joe was talking about out of the system, grow our economy, and actually, if we do this right, and I know it's not easy, but if we do it right, we can actually reduce teen access as well.
DePasquale has been an outspoken advocate for regulating and taxing recreational marijuana. Meanwhile, the state's first sale of medical marijuana made today in western Pennsylvania. A Butler County dispensary, the first to make that sale. More than 17,000 people statewide have registered for a medical marijuana card, and more than 4,000 have been certified. Medical marijuana products will be available here in central Pennsylvania tomorrow at Organic Remedies in Hampden Township, Cumberland County.
A 14-year-old wanted in Lancaster County for charges in connection with a burglary at a gun shop. Police say the teen was one of 4 people involved in the thefts of 16 guns from Trop Gun Shop in Mountjoy Township earlier this month. 3 of the stolen firearms have since been recovered. The teen is facing juvenile charges. The 3 other people involved in the burglary have yet to be identified. This Dauphin County man will spend up to 7 years behind bars for sexually abusing a child. Back in 2012, Dale Saunders of Susquehanna Township was convicted back in October of inappropriately touching a 7-year-old girl. The abuse was reported to police in 2015. A Dauphin County couple admitting guilt today to neglecting, starving, and locking up their 3 children. Joshua and Brandy Wyant from Halifax Township pleaded guilty today to aggravated assault, false imprisonment, and child endangerment charges. The Wyants were arrested in December of 2016 after their children were found malnourished and emaciated. The children were ages 4, 5, and 6 at the time. The guilty pleas carry minimum prison sentences of at least 10 years.
Harrisburg University of Science and Technology is trying to use 3D printing to change the way healthcare is provided. As Fox 43's Jack Ebel explains, one of the prototype ideas is to create skin grafts that are safer and cheaper for patients.
Skin grafts cover areas of the body where skin has been severely damaged or destroyed, such as in a burn. In Harrisburg, Jack Ebel, Fox 43 News.